All right. Very good evening, everyone. Good evening, ma'am. And today's session, as scheduled, 7 o'clock. Due to some unavoidable circumstances, we are starting now at 7:40. And we thank all the participants for their support and understanding. Ma'am has joined just now, and Dr. Monika ma'am is a professor at Chitkara University. So I'm not. I'll share ma'am's profile in the WhatsApp group because we are little delayed and I'm not giving detailed introduction. Probably tomorrow I can speak on that. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, sir. So let us start the session. I hope all of you are aware that today we have session on structure research, model building. So I will give you some concept, then a caselet, then MCQs, and then some web links for each and every topic and subtopic. So let us begin. So uh, So to begin with, as we all know, let me introduce the topic to you all first. That is Introduction to Research Models. As we all know, research models form the foundation of structured academic inquiry. A research model provides a systematic approach to framing a study's hypothesis, variables, and methodology. It ensures logical coherence and empirical rigor, helping you to achieve research clarity. A research model typically consists of theoretical constructs, variables, and relationships that guide the research process. Now, please listen to the example carefully. In marketing management and in other domains, a research model could explore the impact of digital marketing on consumer behavior with independent variables such as engagement rate and dependent variables like purchase intention. Building a robust research model requires aligning theoretical frameworks with empirical testing, ensuring validity and reliability. I hope all of you are able to understand. Still, if there are certain gaps, let us explore this concept through a caselet. So, a caselet here. Dr. A researched digital marketing's impact on consumer engagement. Kindly switch off your mic. Ratne, kindly switch on off your mobile. Sorry, this mic. Please turn it off. Yes. Dr. A researched digital marketing's impact on consumer engagement. Ma'am, please turn off your mic. Sir, please help us. Please ask the candidate to turn off the mic. Yes. Dr. A researched digital marketing's impact on consumer engagement. She developed a model linking social media marketing, that is independent variable, I hope you know, to customer retention, that is dependent variable, moderated by brand trust. Her study revealed that brand trust significantly strengthened the positive effect of digital marketing on customer retention, proving the importance of theoretical constructs in model development. So the question arises, why is a structured research model essential for PhD success? Yes, please. Anyone? Why is structured research model essential for PhD success? Basically, a structured model ensures a logical coherence, empirical rigor, and theoretical alignment, guiding the research process efficiently. Second question, How does a research model help in hypothesis formulation? Yes, please. How it helps in hypothesis formulation?
Ma'am, it helps in hypothesis formulation by identifying the variables.
Very
Because if
right.
we are using, yes, if we are using structured research models, then we may be able to identify the types of variables, and based on that, we can, formulate our hypothesis statements accordingly.
Thank you, Mohit sir, for such a wonderful participation and initiating the
Thank you, ma'am.
responses.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
So basically, it provides a structured approach to identifying relationships among variables, helping you to develop clear and testable hypotheses. Now, let us see what we learned. Yes. What is the correct option? Anyone? Please tell me. The more you participate, the more you learn.
Absolutely, the second one, ma'am.
B, to provide a structured approach to research.
Very right. Very right. Thank you so much. It is B, to provide a structured approach to research. Which of the following is not a component of a research model? Independent variables, moderator variables, randomized assumptions, or dependent variables?
C,
See random
randomized assumption.
assumptions.
Right, right. So I appreciate your participation. It is C, randomized assumptions. So I hope all of you are comfortable with the flow this way. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. So these are certain web links. You can explore the topics further. Right. So importance of research models in academic research. So we will typically go as per the topics and subtopics given to you at the time of registration. Research models enhance the academic credibility of a study by ensuring theoretical and empirical alignment. A structured model aids in hypothesis development, guiding data collection and analysis. By defining clear variables, relationships, and theoretical foundations, research models improve research transparency and reproducibility. For instance, in supply chain management, a research model can explore the impact of AI driven logistics on operational efficiency, with AI adoption as the independent variable and efficiency as the dependent variable, moderated by firm size. Such structured approaches ensure valid research outcomes. So let us explore it further. A scholar analyzed the role of AI in supply chain management. He developed a model linking AI driven logistics, that is, independent variable, to operational efficiency, that is, dependent variable, mediated by supply chain resilience. Her findings revealed that AI significantly enhances efficiency when supply chain resilience is high, proving the importance of structured research models. So, how does a research model contribute to theoretical and empirical alignment? Yes, please. How does a research model contribute to theoretical and empirical alignment? Yes, please. Basically, it ensures that theoretical constructs and empirical data interact coherently, enhancing research credibility. I understand it is difficult in the beginning, but slowly and slowly with the flow of you will start responding. Why is hypothesis development dependent on a structured research model? Why is hypothesis development dependent on a structured research model? So basically, what a research model defines? It defines, yes, please. It defines,
Ma'am, it defines the connection between the variables, how it
yes,
has been derived.
very right. It defines the relationships among variables, providing a systematic approach to formulating and testing hypotheses. Which of the following is a benefit of research model? Reducing research scope, ensuring empirical alignment, eliminating literature review, or removing variables. Yes.
B,
Benefit of
ensuring
Ensuring
empirical alignment.
empirical alignment.
very right. It is B, ensuring empirical alignment. If you are able to respond to the MCQs, it means you have grasp on the concept. Only then you can answer the MCQs. What is a key function of research models? Replacing experimental data, providing a structured research approach,
It's
ignoring
B.
theoretical framework, or avoiding hypothesis formulation. Yes, it
Provide,
is.
It's
providing a
B.
structured research.
B.
Very
Providing
right.
a structured.
Right. It is B, providing a structured research approach. And here is the web link. Now, types of research models: theoretical, conceptual, and empirical. So let us explore this concept. Research models can be categorized into theoretical, conceptual, and empirical. Theoretical models provide abstract frameworks to explore the relationships between variables. Conceptual models visualize these relationships through structured diagrams. Empirical models rely on statistical data to validate relationships. For example, in human resource management, a conceptual model may depict the influence of workplace flexibility on employee retention. Theoretical backing ensures clarity, while empirical analysis confirms validity. So you must integrate all three models for comprehensive research. Dr. B examined motivation's impact on job satisfaction. She designed a conceptual model linking workplace flexibility to retention, supported by Herzberg's two-factor theory. Her empirical findings confirmed that workplace flexibility significantly enhances retention, reinforcing the importance of combining conceptual and empirical models. So, what distinguishes theoretical models from conceptual models? Yes, please. What is the difference? Theoretical models provide which kind of framework?
Abstract framework.
Very right. Theoretical models provide abstract frameworks, whereas conceptual models illustrate,
Visual through study model.
right. These
Structure model.
illustrate, yes, please. These illustrate relationships between variables. Right. Why is empirical validation crucial for research models? Why is empirical validation crucial for research models?
It is used in the data-driven testing, so it is important to validate
Okay,
the research model.
right. It ensures that theoretical relationships hold true in real-world settings, enhancing research credibility. So, which research model focuses on hypothesis development? Conceptual, theoretical, empirical, or experimental? Yes, please.
Empirical and
Focuses on hypothesis development.
It must be B, theoretical.
Very right. It is B, theoretical. Right. So let me show you the next question. What is the purpose of empirical models? What is the purpose of empirical models?
C, to visualize variable relationship.
Anyone else? To provide theoretical concepts, to test relationships.
using data.
Sure?
Yes.
Yeah, this is B, to test relationships using data. So when I explain, you should focus so that you can understand. So here is the web link. Okay. Understanding research questions and objectives. Clearly defining research questions is the foundation of any successful study. Well-crafted research questions ensure that the study is focused and methodologically sound. There are three primary types of research questions: descriptive, which seeks to explain a phenomena; exploratory, which investigates new areas of knowledge; and causal, which examines cause and effect relationships. Research objectives must be SMART. Full form of SMART: S for you must have gone through.
Structured.
No,
Structured.
no. Objectives.
Short.
No. Objectives must be specific.
Okay, specific.
M for objectives must be
Measurable.
measurable. Right. A for A. Objectives must be. Why we formulate objectives? Why we define objectives? So that we can
Accuracy.
Achievable.
achieve. Yeah, achievable. Very right. Achievable. R for objectives must be. R for
Reliable.
anything
Review.
else? Anything else? Relevant.
Relevant.
Yeah. And T for
Tested.
T for no.
Tested.
Anything else? Anything else? T for
Trusted. No.
anything else?
Time bounded.
Very right. It is
time
time bound. So SMART is specific,
Specific, measurable,
measurable,
achievable,
achievable,
time-bound.
relevant, and time bound to ensure clarity. For example, in management research, a study on employee engagement may pose the question: how does workplace flexibility influence employee retention? So this guides the framework and methodology of the research. Structured research questions and objectives enhance the study's credibility and enable systematic investigation. So let us go through the caselet. A scholar in human resource management was exploring employee retention in Indian IT firms. Initially, her research question was broad: why do employees leave? After refining it, she formulated: How does flexible work influence employee retention in Indian IT firms? By setting smart objectives, analyzing factors influencing retention, measuring the impact of flexibility, and evaluating industry specific retention strategies, she successfully structured her study. Her research led to actionable insights for HR policies in IT firms, increasing retention rates. This case highlights the significance of well structured research questions and objectives in achieving impactful outcomes. I hope the case is clear.
Yes,
Yes?
ma'am.
Okay. So, why are research questions essential in structuring a study? Why are research questions essential in structuring a study? Yes, ma'am, you want to ask anything? Yes, please. You have raised hand. Please ask.
No, ma'am. I said okay for the earlier thing.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay. So, why are research questions essential in structuring a study? They guide the studies.
They pave way to the research.
Okay. Okay. What else? They guide the study's focus, methodology, and relevance, ensuring meaningful outcomes. How do smart objectives enhance research effectiveness? How do smart objectives enhance research effectiveness? Yes, please. They provide what?
Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound outcome.
Okay. Okay. They provide clarity, focus, and feasibility, ensuring structured and attainable study goals. So, what is not a type of research question? Descriptive.
Predictive.
Not a type
B.
of research question. It
Or
is?
casual.
B. B.
So, two different answers. We need
It's
a
B.
judge.
Predictive.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? It is B, predictable. You are right, sir. Which of the following is not a smart objective characteristic? Specific, measurable, reliable, time bound. Smart objective. S for
C, reliable.
Reliable.
right.
Reliable.
It is C, reliable. R for
Relevant.
relevant. Right. So here are certain web links. And there is one paper also. I have given the link here for sciencedirect.com for model building. You can explore it further if you want to go for more details of the concept. Now, aligning models with research goals. So, selecting an appropriate research model is crucial in ensuring the study's credibility and applicability. A research model provides structure, allowing the researcher to explore relationships between variables systematically. Conceptual models explain abstract ideas. Theoretical models are based on established theories, and analytical models rely on quantitative assessments. For example, the TAM. Do you know what is the full form of TAM? TAM?
Written over
TAM.
there, ma'am.
Yeah, it is
Technology
written
acceptance
over
model.
there. It is technology acceptance model. It explains Users' adoption of new technologies in organizations. It is widely used in research. By aligning research objectives with an appropriate model, a researcher ensures logical flow and meaningful analysis. Integration involves reviewing literature, identifying relevant variables, and ensuring compatibility with the research framework. Now, let us see the caselet to understand it further. A PhD scholar studying digital transformation in banking initially lacked a structured model. After reviewing the literature, he adopted the TAM model to explain customer adoption of digital banking. She aligned her study objectives with the TAM's variables. What are these? Perceived usefulness, perceived ease of use, and behavioral intention. This structured approach allowed for targeted data collection, leading to robust findings on customer preferences. The model driven research led to actionable insights for banks optimizing their digital strategies. Why is model alignment important in research? This is the question. I hope you are able to get the answer through the case.
It's for decision making, ma'am.
It's for decision making. Okay. Decisions are
I mean,
based on?
Basically, strategic decision making, it is very
Okay.
useful.
Okay. And decisions are based on?
The research done, experience.
Okay. Anything else?
I mean the perception we are having.
Okay. Anything else?
Model, I strongly believe that the model alignment with the research, provides something which is authentic.
Right. So basically, it
Concept
ensures the word I'm looking for
is
begins
concept.
with L. L for decisions are based on? L for?
Logic.
Yes, it is logic. So it ensures logical consistency, guiding hypothesis formulation and data analysis. How does the technology acceptance model apply to management research?
I mean it firstly gathers the data, and there on some we apply some methodology, and we get some findings.
Okay. Anything else?
Ma'am, right now the environment is dynamic in nature, and the integration of the technology in the research gives a lot of importance. Integration of the technology makes research vital. So I strongly
Right,
believe that technology acceptance model may be able to give good support to the research, and
right,
it will be what do we call that? It would be it would be revalidating the existing literature.
right. Now the class is in full form. This is how I prefer to take sessions. When you people participate more and more, it motivates me also. Okay,
Correct, ma'am.
thank you. It explains how individuals adopt new technologies, aiding organizational decision making. Right? Okay. So, which is not a research model type? Conceptual, theoretical, applied, or
Applied.
analytical?
It's
Applied.
B, analytical.
Applied.
Decide. We need more
It's
votes.
D. I think it's D. I'm not sure about it much.
Uh, should we move on to previous slides? Which 3 types I told you?
Conceptual, theoretical, and analytical.
Very right. So you are listening carefully. Let me show the slides again. See these types of models, the second sentence.
Okay, got it.
So what is the correct answer? I ask questions from what I have discussed with you, nothing beyond. So we need to focus more like a researcher. So what is the answer now? I hope
It's
everyone
applied.
can find.
Applied.
It is
Applied.
applied.
Applied. The reason being is because applied is a research type.
Very right. Applied is a research type, not a research model. Thank you, sir, for further clarification. What is a key variable in TAM? Perceived usefulness, organizational structure, economic inflation, or practical
A.
stability?
Perceived
A.
usefulness.
Very right. It is perceived usefulness is right. So some web links and the paper, right? Now, identifying variables and relationships. So we are going with very, very basic concepts so that all of you can participate and can have strong base.
Relationship.
So identifying key variables is crucial for hypothesis formulation and data analysis. Independent variables influence dependent variables, while moderating variables affect the strength of their relationship. For example, leadership style. Leadership style is what? DV or IV or MV? Dependent, independent, or moderating variable? Leadership style.
Ma'am, it's an
Dependent.
independent variable.
Independent.
Yeah, it is an independent variable.
Yeah, it's
Affecting,
an independent variable.
right. Leadership style affects employee performance. So employee performance is?
Dependent.
Dependent variable.
Very right. Dependent variable. With organizational culture acting as a? Organization culture is a?
Moderating.
Mediator.
Moderating.
Right. So leadership style, independent variable, affects employee performance, dependent variable, with organizational culture acting as a moderator. Statistical tools like correlation and regression help establish these relationships. Clearly defined variables enable structured hypothesis testing, ensuring scientific rigor. Let us see the caselet. A researcher studying leadership impact on employee engagement identified leadership style as the independent variable, engagement as the dependent variable, and work culture as the moderator. Using regression analysis, she quantified the impact, showing transformational leadership had a strong positive effect. This structured variable identification led to actionable HR policies, enhancing workplace engagement. Why is variable identification important in research?
Ma'am, the identification of the variable is vital in nature. The reason being is so that we can identify the relationship between the two things.
And it helps in formulation of?
Hypothesis.
And it helps in formulation of hypothesis so that we can come to know what is cause and what is the effect.
Right. So it helps define research scope and enables hypothesis formulation. How does regression analysis help in research?
Ma'am, regression analysis is a statistical tool which actually gives an impact, which actually tells the impact of one variable over the other by
Right.
by writing an equation y is equal to a plus bx, where y is a dependent variable and the x is an independent variable, and in between the a is there, which is an intercept, which is also known as error. So regression analysis actually gives us a statistical validity based on p-value and f significance, so
Right.
that we can authenticate that yes, whatever the relationship between the two variables are there, they are statistically valid.
Right.
And apart from that, in addition to that, we can also identify that what the number of change in the independent variable and the impact of, the impact of change in the independent variable over the dependent variable.
Yes. Anyone else who would like to add further? So basically, it quantifies relationships between variables and provides empirical validation, right? Quantification of relationship between variables and providing empirical validation. Thank you so much, sir, for such an elaborated response. Which is not a variable type: independent, dependent, moderator, or fixed?
Fixed.
Fixed.
Right, it is fixed. Okay, great. What statistical method tests variable relationships? Regression, forecasting, clustering, sampling.
It's a
Sure.
regression. Yes.
Others? Regression defines cause and effect relationship between variables. So it is a regression. Right. So here is the link. Now, framework for model building. So model building is essential in structuring research as it provides clarity and direction. A research model consists of variables, relationships, and hypotheses. Constructing a theoretical model involves identifying key concepts, establishing relationships, and integrating findings from literature. Conceptual framework offers broad explanations, while theoretical frameworks rely on existing theories. For instance, a study on consumer behavior may use the theory of planned behavior to explain purchasing intentions. By structuring the study within the framework, a researcher ensures coherence and scientific rigor. So, a scholar studying employee engagement develops a model integrating the job demand resources. Here we have abbreviated as JD-R framework. By identifying job demands, job resources, and employee engagement as key constructs, the researcher hypothesizes that higher resources enhance engagement while excessive demands diminish it. The model helps in systematically testing hypotheses and deriving meaningful conclusions. So, how do conceptual and theoretical frameworks differ in research model building? Yes. Anyone? How do conceptual and theoretical frameworks differ in research model building? Conceptual frameworks offer what?
Broader aspects.
Yes. Conceptual frameworks offer broad ideas, whereas theoretical frameworks are based on?
Certain theories.
Yes, these are based on established theories. Very right and to the point answer, Mohit sir. Why is defining key variables crucial in model building? Why is defining key variables crucial in model building? It ensures
Relativity between variables
right,
or cause and effects.
right. What else?
Yeah, so that we can systematically test hypotheses and can derive meaningful conclusions.
Okay. What else?
Ma'am, in model buildings, whenever we define variables,
Yes.
the model is the only structure which can define us, or which can differentiate or can say bifurcate, the types of variables to us, so that we
Right.
can identify which one is the dependent, and which one is mediating and moderate variable.
Right.
So that we can derive, meaningful conclusions accordingly.
Right. So it ensures clarity, consistency, and replicability in research. Thank you. Which of the following is not a key component of a research model? Variables, research gap, hypothesis, or relationships?
Research gap.
Research gap.
Others?
Research gap.
Yes, research gap. Right. A theoretical framework is primarily based on literature review,
Review.
existing theories,
Existing theories.
research methodology, or statistical tools. Yes, it is.
Existing theories.
Okay, it is B, existing theories. The name itself specifies. So here are the web links. Now, popular frameworks and methodologies. Various frameworks help structure research across disciplines. JDR is widely used in HRM, while technology acceptance model explains technology adoption. Methodologies such as structural equation modeling (SEM) helps validate models through hypothesis testing and path analysis. Choosing the right methodology depends on research objectives and data availability. For example, TAM is useful in predicting consumer acceptance of new technology, employing perceived usefulness and ease of use as key constructs. A study on e-learning adoption applies TAM, considering factors like perceived ease of use, perceived usefulness, and behavioral intention. Using SAM, the researcher validates relationships, demonstrating that ease of use significantly impacts acceptance. The model provides empirical evidence for enhancing e-learning platforms. Why is methodology selection critical in research model building? Why is methodology selection critical in research model building? It ensures It ensures
Well, it ensures, the logical sequence of the research process. And apart from that, research methodology is always known as the technique through which we can, the importance of the research method is vital in nature, because if we know, if we are going to conduct, such kind of studies, then we should know which method should apply so that we can get, meaningful conclusions accordingly.
right. Anyone else who would like to respond?
In
Yes,
addition to that, in addition to that, research methods are always very important so that we can give the direction. They're
right,
directive in nature. They
Okay.
give us this scope.
right. So it ensures accurate validation and enhances research credibility. What role does hypothesis testing play in model validation? What role
To
does
check, to, to check
yes?
the relationship between components, between the
Variables.
variables.
Right. Very right. To the point answer. It establishes empirical relationships between variables. Right, sir. Which framework is widely used for studying technology adoption? JDR, SERVQL,
Span.
TAM, DOT.
See,
Right, it is TAM. I hope you are familiar with all this.
No, ma'am.
No?
No.
So you can explore
B.
this.
Yes,
SERVQL,
ma'am. First one is okay.
SERVQL,
No.
service quality. Serve from service, qual
Okay.
from quality. Also known as, who propounded this model? Basically, it is used in services marketing. Then TAM. And what is you taught? Mohit sir?
Ma'am, I'm not able to recognize it, but yes, I've studied it.
Okay. So all of you can explore it further and discuss with me tomorrow. Right?
Correct.
Okay. This is also widely used. TAM, you taught are widely used. Structural equation modeling is primarily used for literature review. path analysis and hypothesis testing, case study development, or data collection?
It's B.
Okay.
Option B.
Okay. So you are right. It is B, path analysis and hypothesis testing. So here are the web links. Now, tips for choosing the right framework for your study. Choosing the right framework requires alignment with research goals. Researchers must evaluate whether conceptual or theoretical frameworks best suit their study. Data availability and methodology suitability are key considerations. The framework should ensure theoretical rigor while addressing practical implications. For instance, SERVQL is an appropriate choice for assessing service quality in banking or healthcare sectors. The right selection enhances research validity and applicability. So, a scholar studying customer satisfaction in banking selects SERVQL. It is basically a scale. Identifying reliability, assurance, and responsiveness as key factors. By conducting surveys and analyzing customer perceptions, the model helps in understanding service quality gaps and improving banking services. So, how can a researcher ensure the selected framework is suitable for their study? Yes. How do you get confidence that your framework is suitable for your study? By aligning it with what?
Real life situation.
What you have to achieve, what you have defined in the beginning when you started.
Objectives.
Gaps.
Right, right.
Objective.
By aligning it with research objectives
Okay.
and ensuring theoretical and methodological compatibility. What factors determine the appropriateness of a research framework? Factors. Research objectives, data availability, and methodology feasibility. SERVQL is primarily used to assess employee engagement, consumer behavior, service quality, or marketing strategies. It is
Service quality.
Service quality.
right. It is C, service quality. What is the first step in choosing a research framework? Data collection, aligning with research objectives, literature review, or hypothesis testing.
I think it should be C.
B.
Two
B or
options.
B.
Others?
C.
See, first step in choosing a research framework. Research framework should align with what?
Research objective.
Yes, it is B, aligning with research objectives. Right. Literature review is the answer when we ask what is the first step in initiating the research. Right. Then you can start with literature review. Then you can assess the current situation and then you can find the gap. What is the gap between literature review and the current situation? Right? On the basis of the gap, you come across certain questions. Answers to such questions will become the objectives. On the basis of objectives, you formulate your hypothesis. This is how we proceed. I hope, Mohit sir, you agree?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Would you like to add more?
Ma'am, yes, you have already covered, but yes, the problem statement, if we talk about, identifying the research gap, then yes, that's the right option. And that's the
Yes.
correct, way to go for.
Right.
सबसे पहले हम लोग literature review ही करते हैं.
Yes,
based
we
on
start
literature
with
review-
literature review, but we write introduction first. But we start with literature review.
Sorry, ma'am?
We start with literature review.
Yes, yes. We start with literature review, and based on that, then we proceed accordingly.
Yes, yes. So literature review is the first step to start the research. So web links and may I know the reason for starting with literature review? Why we start with literature review?
To understand the gap.
Ma'am, to understand what study has already been done and what is the gap there in the market. For
Right.
example, the reason being is because research is all about to revalidate either the existing research or to contribute, something new to the market or say society.
Plus, if we are not aware of what has already been researched, we should not end up researching the same that has already been
Being
researched.
done. Mm.
Yeah, that is the main
Correct.
reason. Suppose someone starts working on inventing zero. What is the fun? Right? So that is why it is important. We should know what has
Absolutely correct.
already been done. That is important. We should not end up finding the same thing that has already been in existence. Right?
Correct.
Yeah. So web links and suggested readings are there. Then steps to develop a conceptual model. Developing a conceptual model begins with defining a clear research problem and objectives. This step ensures the model aligns with the study's purpose. The next step involves identifying key constructs and variables derived from existing literature. Once variables are identified, relationships between them must be established, ensuring logical connections. The model should include well-defined hypotheses or propositions to test these relationships. Justification based on theoretical foundations ensure academic rigor and relevance. Finally, expert validation or pilot testing helps refine the model before full-scale research implementation. So, a scholar researching employee engagement in remote work developed a conceptual model linking work-life balance, digital collaboration, and productivity. Literature review identified key constructs and relationships were mapped based on expectancy theory. Hypotheses were formulated as work-life balance positively influences productivity, and second, digital collaboration moderates this relationship. Experts validated the model before data collection. So, why is defining the research problem crucial in conceptual model development? Yes. Why is defining the research problem crucial in conceptual model development?
To know the unknown.
Okay. What else? One is it ensures alignment with
Objectives.
right study objectives and avoids what? Avoids which type of variables? And avoids which type of variables? It avoids irrelevant variables, right? It ensures alignment with study objectives and avoids irrelevant variables. Because when you go through literature, you may come across a number of variables, but every variable cannot be a part of your model. So how will you identify which one to focus, right? That is also important. So how does literature review contribute to model validation? How does literature review contribute to model validation? It provides which type of grounding? It provides theoretical grounding and identifies what? Identifies,
Identifies the research gap so that we can
yes,
identify the variables also.
right, and identifies gaps in previous research. Very right. Okay. What is the first step in developing a conceptual model? Data collection, hypothesis testing, defining the research problem, or mapping the variables. I hope now you are clear.
C.
It was the C.
Yes, very right. It is C, defining the research problem. Unless and until we are aware of what is the problem, research problem, how can we proceed further? What ensures the conceptual model is theoretically grounded? Expert opinions, literature review, pilot studies, or random sampling? Again, very clear answer.
Literature review.
Literature review.
Right. It is literature review. Okay. Now, literature review to identify key components. A structured literature review helps identify key components of a conceptual model. The first step is defining the review scope and research objectives to ensure focus. Reviewing existing theories and frameworks provide foundational knowledge. Empirical studies offer insights into key variables and their interactions. Synthesizing findings helps form the conceptual basis for the model, ensuring logical coherence. Identifying research gaps ensures novelty and contribution to the field. A well-structured literature review follows a systematic approach, categorizing studies based on themes and methodologies. So, a PhD scholar like you study customer loyalty in e-commerce analyzed 50 journal articles. The review identified trust, perceived value, and satisfaction as key variables. The scholar synthesized findings and noted gaps in digital engagement studies. This guided model development, ensuring theoretical robustness. What role does a literature review play in conceptual model development? What role does a literature review play in conceptual model development? It provides?
It provides key variables.
Yeah.
Okay. What else?
Along with gaps,
What else?
so that we
Scope
can
of
say
study. Scope of other studies also.
Okay. What else? Basically, it provides theoretical and empirical foundations. How can identifying research gaps enhance model relevance? How can identifying research gaps enhance model relevance? It ensures what? First, one major attribute of your research. It should be
it should be aligned with the research objectives.
okay. It should be research should be beginning with O. Your research should be
Objectified.
anything else?
Organized.
Anything else?
Okay.
It should be original,
Oh.
right? So the answer is it ensures originality and academic contribution. I mean, there are various answers because we are discussing caselets and all of us end up with the different outcomes, and that is the beauty of the case study. That is why we discuss, we have brainstorming. Right. What is the purpose of a literature review? Define the hypothesis, collect raw data, identify key theories and research gaps, and analyze primary data.
C.
Identify key theories and research gap.
Right. It is identify key theories and research gaps. That is C. Which of the following is crucial for structuring a literature review? Random selection of studies, systematic categorization, only theoretical studies, or ignoring empirical research?
Systematic categorizations.
Right. Systematic categorizations. B. Mapping relationships between variables. Mapping relationships between variables is crucial for a strong research model. Dependent and independent variables define the core study structure. Mediators explain how an independent variable affects a dependent variable, while moderators influence the strength of relationship. I'll repeat. Mediators explain how an independent variable affects a dependent variable, wherever, whereas moderators influence the strength of relationship. Direct and indirect relationships must be clearly justified using existing theories. Hypotheses should be formulated based on logical connections, ensuring coherence and empirical testability. So, a scholar researching workplace motivation mapped relationships between salary, job satisfaction, and performance. Job satisfaction mediated salary performance links, while organizational culture moderated this effect. Hypotheses were developed and tested using regression analysis. What is the role of a mediator in a conceptual model? Role of a mediator in a conceptual model. Yes, please.
Connects the dependent and independent variables.
Right. It explains the process of linking independent and dependent variables. Very right and to the point answer. What should theoretical justification be provided for variable relationships? Yes. Why should theoretical justification be provided for variable relationships? I hope you must come across this point very frequently. Whatever you write, whatever you say, they always ask for a reference from literature.
Mhm.
Every time, quote the related literature, cite
Mm.
it, cite it. Why? Why so? What is the purpose? Why they ask for theoretical justification every time?
The work is done by
Re-
some other
to
researchers.
reinforce the validation.
Mhm.
Right.
To give-
It ensures logical and empirical credibility. What does a moderator do in a conceptual model? Strengthens relationships, changes dependent variables, eliminate variables, reduces study relevance. Moderator.
Strengthens
A.
relationship.
Strengthens relationship.
Right. Strengthens relationships. What is a key criteria for hypothesis development? Randomness, logical relationships, ignoring prior studies, or theoretical irrelevance?
It's B. Logical
Logical
relationship.
relationship.
Right, it's B, logical relationships. So, web links, visualizing the model, tools, and techniques. So, visualizing a conceptual model is critical for conveying complex relationships clearly. The first step is selecting appropriate tools such as ModDraw, Visio, or Amos, which allow for structural equation modeling. Using these tools, researchers create diagrams representing variables and their interactions. Arrows should indicate directionality, and clear labels ensure readability. Best practices include maintaining simplicity, avoiding overlapping arrows, and using consistent formatting. A well visualized model enhances the study's credibility by providing a structured representation of hypotheses and theoretical constructs. So, here's the caselet. A scholar investigating customer trust in e-commerce used MOS to visualize their conceptual model. Trust was the dependent variable influenced by perceived security and service quality. The model depicted mediators like satisfaction and moderators like brand reputation. A clear visualization enabled peer review validation and refined hypothesis before empirical testing. So, why is model visualization important in research? Why is model visualization important in research? You can add more to what you can see. It enhances clarity, aids in peer review, and what else? And complete the sentence.
Ensure logical coherence.
Okay, and ensures logical coherence. Okay, so what is the main purpose of visualizing a conceptual model?
It's B, to improve model clarity.
Very right, it is B, to improve model clarity. Which tool is commonly used for conceptual model visualization?
MOS.
Right, it is MOS. Now, let us see one sample model building. The first part is conceptual framework of the model. The title is the understanding the sample model structure. So basically what we are doing in this slide, let me explain. This slide introduces the conceptual framework for our model. We have 4 independent variables: employee training, work environment, leadership style, and compensation, which influence the dependent variable, that is employee performance. Job satisfaction acts as a mediating variable, explaining how IVs impact the DV. Additionally, 2 moderating variables, that is organizational culture and employee tenure, modify the relationships between IVs and the MV or DV. So, the diagram can visually represent these relationships, showing direct, indirect, and moderated effects. Understanding this framework is critical before applying statistical technique, and then we can define and operationalize these variables. Can you draw the diagram for this? Can you give it a try in your notebooks? Just try it. You might consider it to be a task given to you so that you can have better clarity, right? And then you can check your answer here. Then operationalization of variables and hypothesis development, that is defining and measuring model variables. So before testing the model, we need to define and measure each variable. Independent variables such as employee training and compensation are assessed using Likert scale surveys. The dependent variable, employee performance, is evaluated through performance appraisals. Job satisfaction, that is MV, is measured via the Employee Satisfaction Index, while moderating variables like organizational culture and employee tenure are captured through survey-based categorical responses. Once we define our variables, we establish hypotheses predicting the relationships between them. For example, we hypothesize that the IVs positively impact MV, that is H1. MV positively affects DV, that is H2. And mod V's significantly alter these relationships, that is H3. The accompanying table can summarize these variables, their definitions, and measurement methods. So the task for you people is, can you make this table? Can you give it a try in your notebook? You should try, and then you can, this is again the task in continuation, and then you can check your answers with this table given here, right? This will help you practice and learn through practice. Then the next step, that is statistical technique and model testing, that is applying SEM. So to analyze our model, we use SEM, structural equation modeling, a robust statistical technique for examining complex relationships. SEM enables us to test direct, indirect, mediation, and moderating effects simultaneously. The process includes 4 key steps: model specification, where we define paths based on our hypothesis. Then model estimation, which uses softwares like MOS or Smart PLS to fit the data. Model evaluation, where we check goodness of fit indices, example, RMSEA, CFI, and model modification, where necessary improvements are made. The flowchart outlines these steps in a structured manner, ensuring clarity in our approach. By the end, SEM provides statistical evidence and supporting. By the end, SEM provides statistical evidence supporting or refuting our hypothesis. So you can again try to make this flowchart again an activity for you. And once you are done with it in your notebooks, you can check your responses here. So I hope things are clear to you all. Yes? Any queries? Yes, please. You want to give it a try? You can try right now. Let us start from here. I can give you 5 minutes each for these 3 slides, and then you can check answers here. Or if you want to do it later, you can check answers again I have shown. It is up to you to decide. I have kept 15 minutes for this exercise. You can proceed the way you like. Okay. Any queries? Do you want to revise what we have done today?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So let us move on to the slides from the beginning. Let me give you an overview of what we have covered. Okay. Now, if you will look at it, I hope the slides at the beginning will become
Easy.
clear. Easy, right? So we started with structuring research, that is model building. And we started with introduction to research models, where we have gone through the definition of research models in academic studies, purpose in structuring PhD work, components of a well-structured research model, and we have taken an example of a research model in marketing management, right? Like the example I have given is, a research model could explore the impact of digital marketing on consumer behavior with independent variables such as engagement rate and dependent variables like purchase intention. So building a robust model, research model requires aligning theoretical frameworks with empirical testing, ensuring validity and reliability. Is this clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. After this, we have gone through the concept of importance of models in academic research, wherein we have gone through the role of research models in academic rigor, contribution to hypothesis development and testing, ensuring theoretical and empirical alignment, and then one example. So the example is in supply chain management, a research model can explore the impact of AI-driven logistics on operational efficiency, with AI adoption as the independent variable and efficiency as the dependent variable, moderated by firm size. So such structured approaches ensure valid research outcomes. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So then we have gone through the concept of types of research models, theoretical, conceptual, and empirical. And we had gone through the example also. In HRM, a conceptual model may depict the influence of workplace flexibility on employee retention. Theoretical backing ensures clarity, while empirical analysis confirms validity. So you must integrate all three models for comprehensive research. Revision is also important. Understanding research questions and objectives, where we have gone through the importance of well-defined research questions, types of research questions, descriptive, exploratory, causal. Causal is from cause and effect relationships. So be careful of the spellings of causal. Cause, you will come first. If you write S first, it will become casual. So please do not write casual, it is causal, CAU. Setting clear research objectives, formulating smart research objectives, and then we have gone through the example of one example. If you want, I can repeat the example. Full form of SMART. S for?
Specific,
Specific,
Yes. Then?
measurable,
measurable,
Right.
achievable,
Right.
relevant,
Right.
time
and
bound.
time bound.
Perfect. Perfect. And we have discussed that as an example that in management research, a study on employee engagement may pose the question, how does workplace flexibility influence employee retention? This guides the framework and methodology of research. Structured research questions and objectives enhance the study's credibility and enable systematic investigation. After this, we have gone through the concept of aligning models with research goals, where we have discussed the importance of selecting a suitable research model, types of models, conceptual, theoretical, analytical, ensuring alignment with research objectives, and then the example. Okay. So example that we have discussed was of TAM, that explains users' adoption of new technologies in organizations. By aligning research objectives with an appropriate model, a researcher ensures logical flow and meaningful analysis. Integration involves reviewing literature, identifying relevant variables, and ensuring compatibility with the research framework. Then we have, yes, sir? Any query?
No, ma'am, nothing.
Okay. Then we have discussed identifying variables and relationships, where we have defined variables, independent, dependent, moderating, then establishing relationships between variables. Then we have discussed the example. So leadership style independent affects employee performance dependent, with organizational culture acting as a moderator. Moderating variable affect the strength of the relationship. Statistical tools like correlation and regression help establish these relationships. Clearly defined variables enable structured hypothesis testing, ensuring scientific rigor. Then we have discussed frameworks for model building, where we have gone through the definition and importance of model building in research, key elements, then steps in constructing a theoretical model, then types of frameworks, that is conceptual versus theoretical, and then an example. So we have discussed that conceptual frameworks offer broad explanations, whereas theoretical frameworks rely on existing theories. And the example we have discussed was a study on consumer behavior may use the theory of TPB, theory of planned behavior, to explain purchasing intentions. By structuring the study within a framework, researchers ensure coherence and scientific rigor. Then we have gone through the concept of popular frameworks and methodologies, wherein we have discussed JDR, TAM, UTOUT, SERVQL, and then choosing the right methodology for model validation, then hypothesis testing and path analysis, and then the example. So we have discussed that TAM is useful as an example, that TAM is useful in predicting consumer acceptance of new technology, employing perceived usefulness and ease of use as key constructs. Then we have gone through tips for choosing the right framework for your study, wherein we have discussed that importance of aligning the framework with research objectives, evaluating data availability and methodology suitability, ensuring theoretical rigor and practical relevance, and then the example, wherein we have discussed ServQL as an appropriate choice for assessing service quality in banking or healthcare sectors. The right selection enhances research validity and applicability. Then we have discussed steps in developing a conceptual model, wherein we have defined the research, we have learned how to define research problem and objectives, identify key constructs and variables, establish relationships between variables, develop hypotheses or propositions, justify model based on theoretical foundations, and validate through expert feedback or pilot studies. Very, very important, right? It adds to the credibility. Then we have gone through literature review to identify key components, where we have learned how to define scope and research, how to define scope and research objectives, identify key theories and frameworks, review empirical studies for relevant variables, synthesize findings to form conceptual basis, highlight research gaps, and structure literature review systematically. I have taken one session earlier also on SLR and bibliometric analysis, a separate session. Then we have learned how mapping relationships between variables, where we have defined dependent and independent variables in the terms of mapping, identifying mediators and moderators. Again, I'll repeat, mediators explain how an independent variable affects a dependent variable, whereas moderators influence the strength of relationship. Then establishing direct and indirect relationships, justifying relationships with theories, then developing hypotheses and ensuring model coherence. The caselets are the elaborated examples for each of these concepts that we have already discussed. Then visualizing the model, tools and techniques, where we have learned the importance of visualizing conceptual models, selection of appropriate visualization tools, diagramming methods for clarity and coherence, best practices for labeling relationships and variables, ensuring logical flow and readability, and then the example of model visualization in research. Okay. Then we have gone through the conceptual framework of the model as an example. We have taken sample model building, wherein we have tried to revise conceptual framework of the model, under which we have discussed the sample model structure, right? And then we have, what we have learned here is, just a moment. Yes. Conceptual, we have discussed under sample model building, we have discussed conceptual framework of the model under the title Understanding the Sample Model Structure, where we have defined the variables, explained the relationships, and then made an attempt to draw the diagram of the model structure. Once you are done with it, you can check your response. This was followed by operationalization of variables and hypothesis development under the title Defining and Measuring Model Variables, where we have defined and measured the variables DV, IV, MV, and moderating, right? Then developing hypothesis, then we have made an attempt to explain or tabulate this information, right? So first you complete this and then you check your responses here. First draw table yourself and then check your responses. For table, you can make 4 columns: variable, type, measurement method, and hypothesis. And this was followed by the last step. So I have explained it in 3 steps: statistical technique and model testing under the title Applying SAM. So first we need to choose SAM for testing, and then the steps, and then we try to explain this through a flow chart. Again, make an attempt to do so, and then check your responses here, right? I hope this has guided you further for better understanding of the concepts, the revision part.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So any queries? If you liked last 3 slides or 6 slides, we will have more examples tomorrow so that you can practice and practice. You can make the table, diagram, or flowchart in the class itself on your notebooks, and then you can check your answers.
Ma'am,
Right?
would you share this presentation with us today?
I hope Sari sharing the video recording, which comprises the presentation itself.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
Just to understand the last 3 things, we have not done it. So if we can just get an
Right.
idea.
No problem. It is already recorded, so you can go through it.
Okay,
Over
thank
to
you.
Bola, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, for your time. We understand that it is really troublesome, especially for you. Okay, coming back from university, then going to doctor's place, again coming back, and at the same time without any rest. Okay, at a stretch for 2-hour session. So we
So,
are extremely, what we should say, thankful to you for your time being
so
with
here
us.
lies the message for researchers also. I would like to add that mine was the first batch in 2010 when government announced that admissions will be made in PhD only through entrance exam.
Mhm.
Ours was the first batch, no previous questions, nothing, question papers, nothing was there, no idea what is going to happen, what kind of question papers will be there. And in peak winters, we had exams on 22, 24, and 27 January. And just week before, my mother faced with the accident to an extent that a plate was to be inserted in her left arm.
Mhm.
On the day of examination, she told me, it's better you go and attempt your paper, otherwise re will be there, right?
Mhm.
So, but because I have just one habit, I am very regular in attending my classes, even when I'm serving as faculty and as well as a research scholar. So I topped those examinations. So researchers must be like army persons, ready for everything, every time. I mean, or with all your baggage carrying with you so that you can face any situation you come across. This is how the life of researcher is.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and thanks to all the participants for your patience and listening to our request. And thank you once again. Good night and see you tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Thank you,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Take care.
participants, for your support.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks a lot. Bye bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye. Please revise. We will continue tomorrow.